Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Wednesday, March 2nd, 2022 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I stand in my sovereignty as I align with the divine. And woo! To quote my landlord, Holy Moses, we have a lot of energy that we are working through, and I have so many things that I want to bring through, and I hope will flow out of me for this. We have our big new moon in Pisces today. So new moons are a beautiful time to set intentions. And this new moon is helping finish up this astrological year. So Pisces is the final sign. So this is like the last new moon of the year before we dig into the Aries energy, which will have an Aries new moon actually the 31st or 1st of April, 31st of March, 1st of April. So there's a lot of power in this. There's more power added to it because we have Jupiter very close to this new moon energy. This new moon is happening at 12 degrees. Jupiter's at 14, so it's very close, very, very close in energy. Now, this is an important piece to keep in the back of your mind as we look at the astro energies that we're moving through. Jupiter can expand whatever the energy is. So Jupiter's very happy to expand the good things, the blessings, all of that. Jupiter's like, yeah, let's bring it on. So I'm getting an image of Oprah like, you get a car, you get a car. Jupiter can absolutely be like that. Jupiter also can be like, and you get this challenging thing, and you get this challenging thing. And this is where we want to keep ourselves in check. Because we have this few big things, but this Pluto, Mars, Venus conjunction building. And to be fair, this is not going to reach its peak until Thursday. However, Mars and Pluto are hanging out today. Mars, the planet of aggression, passion, frustration. Mars can be warlike in its energy, right? And it meets Pluto, Plutonic colonic, transformation, ultimately empowerment. But when this anger meets power, it can be very, I don't like the words coming to me. It can be very explosive, just to be very frank, right? This energy in and of itself, if we have the power to explode, we have to check our volcanoes is one of the ways I like to reference. We all have that power to like release that fire, right? We need to be very aware of that in this energy. And again, because our emotional energy, the moon, is going to be enhanced by both the sun and Jupiter, there is a lot of emotion under the surface. And just to take that one step further, Pisces really does gather up the karma of lifetimes. And that's all water or lava under the surface that we're all feeling and experiencing. That being said, there is a lot coming up. And what we all do need to remember is our own personal power. So let's dig into this a little bit. The new moon in Pisces is reaching its peak at 9:35 a.m. Pacific time. So early in the day moon for those of us in the States. I wanted to look at the Sabian symbol because the Sabian symbol is pretty interesting to me, and especially in light of all of these energies. So the Sabian symbol for 12 degrees Pisces, which let's just say this too, 12 degrees is an expansive degree. So we have a lot of expansion possibility, capability in and through this new moon energy. So Pisces 12 degrees is in the sanctuary of an occult brotherhood. Newly initiated members are being examined and their characters tested. And this can take us to like spirituality and our beliefs and where we stand. But what really jumped out at me, and this is definitely going to be a different scope, but I'm going where it's flowing. There's so much talk about like secret societies and who really rules the world and all of that stuff, right? We don't need to necessarily dig into that because none of that matters so much as what you believe about that. Do you believe that there are these powers who have power over you? Or do you trust in your sovereign divine self? That to me feels like something so huge to really look into and dig into your beliefs with this new moon. And I think for a lot of us that we are conditioned as humans to give a lot of our power away. So many / all of us really do at one point or another. And how far does that trickle down? And how do we call that power back? How do we call that energy back to us? And this to me feels like a big part of this energy. If we look at it as a whole, this energy, what it's calling us back to is calling our power back, recognizing our sovereign selves, and standing in the power of our divine, to align with the divine, our divine coding, our divine path, our divine flow. Now again, this isn't easy because it is undoing conditioning, and it's conditioning from many lifetimes that we have to move through in and through this. But I feel like just even exploring, where do I really believe that the power is held? And I think that's a really interesting thing just to even to look at in regards to what's going on in the world. What is the power of one person? I don't know. Again, just look at that. Look at that, explore that. And what is that power within yourself? As we have, again, Venus and Mars, the yin and the yang energies coming together with Pluto. To me, this is a call to take a stand in our personal responsibility, in our balance, in our alignment. Stand up, step up. And then we have the sun and the moon. And the sun and the moon can also represent like the yin and the yang energies coming together and uniting and finding that balance to stand within ourselves and in our power. So this is huge energy. Now, I like to look at the next Sabian symbol as well. So the Sabian symbol for Pisces, 13 degrees, an ancient sword used in battles is displayed in a museum. The keynote, through the effectual use of his will, a consecrated man can become a symbol of courage for all those who follow in his footsteps. And it's so interesting because down here it's like it's God's will operating through the mind, which focuses the power. And so it's really interesting. There's a lot of this, there's power in the Sabian symbol, there's power, it's a power keg in the astro energies, and yet the power is seemingly often up for grabs in who is giving their power away, who is offering somebody even more power. What do the powers of be? What are they? What is their focus? What is that higher vision that's happening? And really looking at that and just noticing your place in the oneness, in the all that is, because truly every single one of us has energy feeding in to this divine unfolding. And I, for one, like to be as aware as possible and conscious as possible and intentional as possible with my energy. And so to me, in this divine unfolding, in this astro energy, we have this potential to step into this on another level. So that's how we're starting this, just right there. We add to this the Mercury and Saturn conjunction that's happening today as well. So this is definitely interesting because there's multiple ways this can go. So Mercury rules the mind. Saturn, responsibility is where I like to go with Saturn. Saturn can also be limitations. And so we know we are not ever getting the whole story, right? We know that there are limits to the stories that we get. And yet we have a responsibility to tune in to the unfolding consciousness that's out there. And that unfolding consciousness can help inform us on how, again, we are called to stand up in our sovereign and our divine selves in any given situation. With this, I think the responsibility is recognizing, it's a lot. There's so much. Recognizing there are agendas. And then again, recognizing what is your personal responsibility and how do you clear out anything that's extraneous and come back into your alignment. And as Mercury and Saturn connect, that feels very purposeful in this energy because we are so influenceable, especially it feels like with Mercury in the sign of Aquarius, it's like an antenna, a tower, and we're just taking it all in. Taking time to clear yourself can help, can serve. Now I want to remind us again that Pisces energy, Pisces definitely I think connects to I would actually say crown energy, chakra-wise. And there's those who talk about the higher heart with Pisces, the empathy and the love that we can have for each other. And this is truly for, I believe, from the soul perspective, every being on this planet. Recognizing the part that they play, recognizing that higher connection. And so we're called into that higher consciousness in and through this new moon. Now, how I show up for this and how you show up for this are going to be two different things, and that's okay. It's not all meant to be the same. We all do play our own part. But that's what I'm asking you is how do you step into your sovereignty? How do you step into your power in and through this and recognizing I'm getting the millions of lifetimes that feed into this very moment that are asking you to step up in your power, in purpose, on purpose. So, oh my goodness, so much in and through this. And it's always so much more eloquent when I say it in my brain than when it actually comes out of my mouth. But this energy is definitely packing a punch. Now, going back to the expansion piece, this Pluto energy can feel very heavy, very dense, painful, and it may bring up a lot of fear. And I've been talking a lot about the fear waves and how we don't want to get too caught up in the fear waves. And that's what I encourage you in this. Don't give your power away to the fear waves. I love Rumi's verse, wherever you stand, be the soul of that place. And I love, it goes hand in hand with, you are the soul of the universe, and your name is love. Keeping that in mind, because I think that the fear waves in this energy are going to be fairly large. Certainly, we've been going through it as the world, and it just seems to keep turning up the intensity, right? What are the powers that be thinking? I don't know. What is that agenda? That's very interesting. Who even are the powers that be? Like, is it here? Is it somewhere else? I don't know. We don't even need to go there. But again, you as a sovereign being, does any of that even matter? Or does the energy that you feed in, is that where your power truly is? And that's what, again, we all have the opportunity to look at this and adjust ourselves as we move through these energies. So the moon is going to meet up with Jupiter at 1:24 p.m. Pacific time. And that is building to the sun and Jupiter coming together on the 5th. We have a lot of interesting energies moving together on Saturday the 5th. So as the moon and Jupiter collide, recognize the emotional tides are going to be stronger than ever. And yet you can still stand in your power. Recognize your lava flows, check your volcanoes. I will say that when we have Pluto events, a lot of times Pluto can knock us out. I say this a few times. Sometimes. I don't always say it as much as I want to. That might actually be a good thing. If you are feeling tired, let yourself rest. Let the transformation happen through you. I actually feel very called to light this incense. Oh, I have a lighter. Or not incense. This smudge. Just to help clear these energies. Because again, this is just a lot. Any one of these things would be a lot, but all of it together is so much. And then I'm going to show you my cards and mention the timing of Mars and Pluto reaching its exact point. Not burning too strongly. That's good. Maybe we're doing a fairly good job being clear, right? That's what I believe when it's not too strong of a thing. So, Mars and Pluto are going to reach their peak at 12:43 a.m. on Thursday. Venus and Pluto reach their peak at basically 10 a.m. on Thursday. And then the moon is moving through at basically in the 1 o'clock hour across Pluto, Venus, and Mars. So through Thursday, we are going to be feeling this energy very, very, very strongly. And everything that I'm saying about standing in your power and being the soul of that place, clear, clear, clear. That's all going to serve and help you move through this energy. Take time, get grounded. Pisces can sometimes be, the fish just going with the flow in the river. This is the time to stand in your sovereign self. I'm seeing Care Bear stare. Care Bear stare, if that's your alignment, right? Your alignment may be different than mine, but Care Bear stare into the world. Sending your love to all. In and through this. All right, let's look at the cards. I'm actually going to start with I just got a new deck. So exciting. Rose Oracle. And I pulled a card for this, and it felt so beautiful. And so aligned. The Rose Thread, Inner Call, Soul-Led, the Mystic, Living Courageously. And I always love the word courageously because courage is heart. This is the card of the mystic, the one who's in touch with the depths of the inner world and the inner weavings of the world and beyond, way beyond. They're dedicated to listening to the mysterious voice whispering within, to following their intuition and living in accordance with that, to living by being guided by the rose thread. Following the rose thread means being dedicated to walking the right way of the rose, to being in service to humanity. Dedicated to writing a new story. That is part of our power. We do not have to accept this old story. It requires courage and faith and the willingness to pave a new path. The rose has been a symbol of the mysteries for thousands of years. The rose thread is the invisible path that the mystic follows. It takes courage to trust it, for the path is different for every single person. This is why it requires courage to trust the inner call. And those who do find great reward. This card is a sign that you're being called to follow this initiatory path, led by the thread deep within. You may find that you're in a place of great change and are being called to have faith and gather up courage to take the next step. This card is a sign of encouragement to keep taking the next step. It's acknowledging the courage it takes to live a soul-led life and honoring you for always taking the leap. And the rose transmission is, even when things feel unclear, especially when they do, I trust that I'm always led from within. So let's finish up with these cards. I love at the top the awareness card, clearing away the fear waves, clearing away any manipulations to your own sovereign self, your own sovereign personal path. Try to clear away some of the stress. There is a lot going on, and we are all responsible, and we are not all responsible for all, if that makes sense, right? There's a balance in it. Know what you can put down, know what you can put aside, and know again where your responsibility is and how you are living and moving forward. Right there, the letting go card. What is called to let go? This is a card of emotion. So there will be emotional energies coming up. This card is actually Cancer. It resonates with Cancer. So definitely some emotions that we're going through. I love that we have the Silence card. This is the Star card. It's a card of beautiful unfolding. It's a card of higher vision coming to fruition. It's in reverse. So we're not going to see this quite yet, right? We're not there yet. We have some work to do. However, it's here. I think this goes hand in hand actually with this card, the Sharing card. The sharing of your divine light, the sharing of your divine vision. With the Sharing card in reverse, it's not necessarily time to share it, but I feel like it's time to kindle this fire within and let it inspire you as we move in and through these energies. So I'm leaving that there. This is a very long scope, but this is a lot of energy. You can book a reading. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. Truly. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and honor your values. Namaste.